Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table podcast with PJ and Mike. Now, please find yourself a seat at their table.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm PJ.
And today we'll be reviewing the Barbie movie. And to help us out, we have our special guest, an old friend, an old classmate, Ms. Amy McCool.
Yay! Hi, everyone. I'm Amy.
Perfect.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for helping us out. And to our listeners, let me just give you a little background about Amy, okay? Amy currently lives in Greenport. That's like the North Fork of Long Island, where most people come to vacation. She's been living there since 2016, and she hangs around the docks hoping someone will let her on their yacht one day.
One day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amy has been hooping, which is a performance art with a hula hoop, for about 10 years now. And every Monday during the summer, she performs with her LED loop, and it's a big hit with the kids there. By day, Amy is a teacher. She teaches English, literature for high school, as well as ESL. Mm-hmm. Last year, she started a puppetry course, and during her summer vacation, she's also working with toddlers. She's been married for 3 years to a gentleman of, his name is Jonathan Fogarty, no relation to the singer of Creedence Clearwater Revival. And growing up, Amy actually sat next to PJ in 9th grade Earth Science, where if they got a question wrong, they were bopped on the head. And Amy met me in the 2nd grade, and when she finally attended public school, I was actually Amy's second crush. I was not her first pick. But she actually dated one of my good friends, Mr. Matt, and which is perfect because Amy's very in touch with her inner child, and that's why she's the right woman for the job to talk about Barbie. So I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited too. I've been doing my Barbie research. I've been watching like Barbie documentaries, and finally I got to see Barbie on Friday all by myself. It's so
all
good.
Right.
Super expensive to go to the movies. I don't know, in Hampton Bays, in the Hamptons area, $17.50. $17.50 for one ticket. And the chairs don't even recline back. They're like,
I don't understand how those chairs don't recline back. You're going to a movie theater in such a highfalutin area, and they can't even give you a recliner.
They think they're being charming. But
you bring up a good point, Amy, because think about families. I mean, I'm not the greatest with math, but that's a hell. If you have a family of 4, that's a lot of money.
Your family, Barbie.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to go for the whole tangent about the cost of film, but it's like, let's say, look, how much is Netflix a month? Let's say it's 20. $20, you get unlimited movies. Granted, they're not all the greatest movies, but get a giant catalog, for $20, and then you see basically $20 to see one movie. Yikes! I really got
DVD way back when.
Yeah, they got to really adjust that.
Well, that's why the movie theater is slowly dying out, because no one wants to pay the money to go see a movie in a theater because of all the streaming services. And the movies are on the streaming services within 45 days. So unless it's a huge blockbuster release that you need to see in the theater, wait a month and a half and you can just watch it in your house for a lot cheaper.
Yep.
Right. But nevertheless, Barbie's making millions. Barbie's banking.
She's
making a ton of money.
Mm-hmm. People are still going. They're having their Barbie Oppenheimer type of summer right now.
Yep.
I think I read somewhere that it's like the most money a female-led movie is made on its release weekend or something like that. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And for Friday at 3:45, it was pretty packed for, that early showing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was good. And audience, you had young, you had old. I had like 3 elder gals sitting next to me. In front of me, I had children. It's safe to take kids too. It's PG-13.
I go to a movie and there's a kid there and it just ruins. I find that the children in the movie theaters don't know how to behave anymore. I'm gonna sound like an old man yelling at a cloud right now, but I just go to the movie theaters and all I hear are the kids talking and just being obnoxious, and it ruins the movie experience for me.
There was a girl in front of me, maybe between 10 to 12, but she was talking to the movie, but it was a little funny. I thought it was funny. I'm immature like that. I'm like, when she was like, when Margot Robbie said, "Oh, I'm the ugly Barbie," and she's like, like that.
Right.
I thought it was funny that she did that.
Yeah.
The movie, I'm like, yeah. And then they had a little commentary. Helen Mirren, she does the narration for the film, and then she does a little comment saying, Margot Robbie is not the right person to choose if you want to say this comment right here about ugly Barbie.
Right.
But, you know, I thought it was funny that the girl was kind of interacting a little bit with the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So actually, talking about interacting, Amy, what was your first experience playing with Barbie dolls? We always start with a childhood memory. What was your, first experience?
I was about 4 or 5 when I got my first Barbie. And I got my first Barbie, it was at my birthday party. And I loved from the instance of setting up a set. You know how like I never had the dream house, but I'm sure if I had the dream house, I would have loved to put that together. But my very first Barbie experience is getting a Barbie bathroom. Like I had a Barbie bathtub, a Barbie shower. Maybe that's part of my bathroom humor, is this is what I got for my 5th birthday, is a Barbie bathroom. And I don't remember the particular Barbie that I got, but I do remember like loving the little sets that I had. Later on, I had like a McDonald's set with a little drive-through for Barbie because, of course, Barbie has all these jobs, and I had Barbie working at McDonald's.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But
I never played with Barbie, but my sister, she didn't really have a lot of Barbies. My sister actually had a lot of My Little Pony. But I remember my cousin had Barbie dolls and all that stuff. But I remember, I'm not gonna lie, I always liked her dream house. I always liked her vehicles. I mean, she had a Corvette. You know, none of my action figures had Corvettes, man. I mean, I had the Turtle Van and the Batmobile, but seeing that Corvette was pretty sweet. Man, she had nice vehicles, man. And the house, those playhouses are, they're really nice. Yeah. They're up there with like the Ghostbusters warehouse. They're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that was quite the right target demographic.
Yeah. PJ, I just want to ask you a quick question. I know you and I are big Power Ranger fans. I'm not going to lie. I had all of them, and I got to say the Pink Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, I think they hooked up with all the other Rangers when I played with them. But,
Absolutely.
Have a bunch of Barbies. They even make mention of in the movie that we don't really have too many Ken dolls. Like you have like a bunch of Barbies. I only had one Ken doll, and it was the scuba diver Ken. That meant that his legs were always black for like scuba diving. So that was one Ken doll that I had, scuba diver Ken, and all the rest were Barbies, all girls. So as a girl, you didn't even want Ken so much. And in the movie, it makes mention of Ken just being in the peripherals, that he's in the side view. Barbie doesn't really pay attention, and that was part of it, that Ken never got attention from Barbie. Ryan Gosling's like seeking out the attention of Barbie the whole movie. That's all he wants. He wants her to give a little attention to him, but I don't know.
I remember years ago, there was the whole thing where they broke up Ken and Barbie and introduced a new guy.
Yes,
I can't remember that guy's name, but I remember they introduced a new doll that was not Ken. And if no one was buying Ken, I can't imagine anyone bought the new guy.
The new guy is like a beach guy, just like in the movie. They all have like the beach gear on. So the guy that she left Ken for was just another beach guy. Everybody's on the beach. That's their job. Ken says, "My job is beach, not lifeguard."
Right.
I don't go out there. He says, "I stay on here." He goes, "But do you save anybody's life on the beach?" "No, I don't do that either. Just stay on the beach." That's my job.
Nice.
But,
so kind of give us the, the gist of the movie, like I guess, some quasi plot summary, and just kind of give us the ins and outs of the film. Take it away, Amy.
Spoiler alert.
there's this whole Barbie land. And in Barbie land, everything is perfect. You wake up as Barbie, you wave to all your friends that are mowing the lawn, and everybody's just having a grand old time. It's this pretty female universe of all the Barbies, all the girls that have these jobs, and all the Kens. They're on the beach and they're dancing away, having a good time. Ken wants to go over Barbie's house for the night. Barbie's like, no, like, I'm having a girls' night tonight. Why do you even want to stay over? I don't know. So then, as they're dancing, Barbie goes, do you ever have thoughts of death?
Oh, okay.
The whole movie like pauses, like, Barbie, you can't think of this. Why are you thinking of death? And so she meets Weird Barbie. Everybody's telling her, go to Weird Barbie, go see what she's kind of like, sees into the future. Weird Barbie is the Barbie that you had that you played a little too hard with. You cut her hair, you drew on her face, maybe you ripped her head off, that kind of thing. That's Weird Barbie. So Weird Barbie's played by Kate McKinnon. She goes to her and says, why am I thinking of death? Am I supposed to be thinking of this? Why? Oh, you have somebody that's playing with you in the human world. So now you need to go to the human world and figure this all out from your owner who's playing with you. Why are they thinking of death? So you have to go there through the Barbie mobile. You have to go with the Corvette. Then you take a snowmobile. Then you ride on your bike. You go on the rocket ship. So there's this whole process of like getting into the real world that you have to go by. All these things that Barbie, how she transports.
Right.
And so she gets into the real world. Ken loves the real world. Barbie hates it because why? The patriarchy.
Okay. There comes that.
This is really in the movie. So like Ken's loving it. He gets all these like books. He's like, wow, people really respect me all of a sudden. Somebody asked me for the time. Wow. Like nobody asked me for the time in Barbie World.
Right.
But Barbie's hating it. Like Barbie's going up to construction workers, and in Barbie World, you know, all the construction workers are Barbies, whereas here they're men. So they're giving her all these like crude comments.
Right. Catcalls. Yeah.
That whole thing. So
so they are toys in the movie. I just from the trailer didn't get the impression that they were actually dolls. I just thought they were Barbie in the real world. So these are actually toys that get played with throughout the course of the movie.
Yes. So they're toy land, their toy universe, and then they have to go into the real world to fix a problem. The problem that Barbie's having, because now that she's thinking of death, her feet are flat. And somehow, like promoting this movie, they asked Margot Robbie about how many takes did it take for your feet to be that arched. You see the trailer. He gets out of her shoes and her feet are perfectly arched like a Barbie would be.
Right.
Yeah. And now her feet are flat and she can't deal with that, so she has to fix that. So America Ferrara is the mother of a daughter, and America Ferrara was the one who was playing with Barbie, and she grew up, and because she had these like dark thoughts, because not everything is rainbows and wonderful in the real world, she has to deal with real life stuff like, you know, being a mom, or, you know, dealing with a teenage daughter who is giving her sass. So, yep. So she tries to figure it all out with them. So she takes them all back to the Barbie world to fix it all there. When they get back, Ken reorganizes everything. It's now a man's world in Barbie land.
It's a man's world.
Yeah, it's a man's
They start playing James Brown. It's a man's world.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world.
All the time, you're like, Barbie's like, no, this wasn't what it was before. It's terrible. So like Ken's wearing like the Rocky Balboa fur on him. He loves horses. Everything's cowboys with Ken for some reason, but it's kind of funny in a way. Ryan Gosling is hilarious. He was part of the reason why I wanted to see the movie. Anything Ryan's in, I'll go watch. No problem. Yeah.
He's very. I mean, I think he's one of the best actors around. I think he's also very, very funny. I love him in The Nice Guys. You ever seen The Nice Guys with him and Russell Crowe?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's great. Yeah, he's got a great, comedic flair. Ryan Gosling. He's very versatile. And I've seen people who, like, obviously a lot of people have been dressing up to see the movie. They're wearing pink. But I've seen people wearing his jacket for the movie Drive, with the scorpion on it.
Drive.
I've seen that, which is pretty badass. So.
Movie. But he was so funny and he was perfect. And, all the marketing for this movie, they explain why his hair is blonder than, your Ken is normally like brunette or sandy brown, blonde hair. But like his was like this like platinum blonde. And I think they explained it with like Robert Redford. He wasn't really paying homage to Ken necessarily. He was paying homage to like Robert Redford because Ryan Gosling is kind of like that for maybe millennials or my age group, that you want to go see it just because he's in it. Or like Robert Redford of the day, women flock to go see the movie just because he was in it. So he was really paying homage to Robert Redford. I thought that was really interesting, rather than Ken himself, because I don't know. But kind of cool. But anyway, it's all happy at the end. I don't want any spoilers.
Yeah. No, that was a very good plot summary for sure.
Last line, really super funny. But you expect that something's happening, but it's funny. It's good. There's lots of laughs. I think, men could definitely see this movie too. It's not just that. I mean, it's very pink. It's a very pink movie, as our site call is right now. Very pink, but still funny, still good. That it's watchable by all age groups and genders.
What I was going to ask was just that. Is this something that's really geared towards females or kids that might play with it, or is it anyone can find something in the movie to enjoy it? It's kind of like an all ages, all genders movie. Because it's pushed very much as a girl movie.
Yeah, which is fine. But I think it's also.
It is. Mm-hmm. I mean, as you go into the movie, you're going to see people in pink. You're going to it's probably most likely females in pink going in, and you could point out who the moviegoers are. Like, they're definitely seeing Barbie, like the age group and everything. But I don't know. I'm trying to recall if I saw any men. If they were with their kids. That was that. I don't think any.
Yeah, I mean, I actually want to see it. I know, was it Greta Gerwig, right, the director? I know I haven't seen her other films, but she's in, like most film directors, she started off as indie. But I don't mind, like, I guess chick flicks or any, like, I love 13 Going on 30. That movie's awesome. I like Legally Blonde. I love Clueless. Clueless is a classic, so I don't really, to me, it doesn't bother me. I'm just curious because a lot of people are saying this movie because is that, I know it's PG-13, but I heard it's not. Is that really fair to say? Like,
I was talking about this with my friends yesterday because there's a few jokes that might go over kids' heads.
Right.
Kind of like Shrek. I mean, any kind of movie, they put a little bit in for the adults to be like, haha, where it might go over, like maybe Ken walking on the boardwalk when he's finally in the real world and he gets a couple of winks from other men,
Right.
So I don't know.
Would a kid enjoy this? Or would like a kindergartner, or like that's the height of a kid playing with these toys? Elementary school, are they really gonna lock into this film? This isn't Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of movie, So are they gonna really be bored with this?
No, there's no cursing. There's nothing sexual at all. Just the hint of it, like with the sleepover.
Right. I'm not saying it's offensive, but I'm like, would they be entertained? Like at elementary, elementary.
Yes, for sure. There's lots of dance scenes, like Ken at the end dancing with all the other men about finally it's a man's type of world and having his way for once. And what about Ken? Aren't I Knuff?
Right. I've seen those.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the Iron Man enough shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
But I believe everybody. It's a good one.
Mhm.
Just Barbie, the toy itself, has to be one of the most like iconic and successful
Yeah.
toy franchises of all time. Because I remember going to Toys R Us as a kid, and there was like a section, and this is the first time I'd ever seen toys in like a display case locked up, and they had these very expensive Barbies and like designer dresses and all this other stuff.
Oh yes.
That was the first time I'd seen toys behind a case because they were too expensive to be played with by kids.
Hey,
It's got to be the most successful toy franchise.
oh, for sure. I was just watching a documentary called Tiny Shoulders on Hulu, and they said that Barbie has a 98% recognizable trait about her. They said more so than presidents, than any kind of political figure. You
Wow.
know, everybody recognizes who Barbie is. And yes, going down that aisle where it's all pink and Scarlett O'Hara, all the Gone with the Wind Barbies,
Yeah.
Barbie, that case, that they're all collectible. I had a neighbor who kept them in boxes. I never kept them in boxes. I had one that you have the international type of Barbies. No, I want to play with the Barbie. I never kept them in the boxes.
Yeah. I think
And
Barbie dolls are like the first, like, I don't want to say collectibles, but like, I mean, I think Barbie dolls are a beautiful work of art. I mean, like they look great. That I mean, like they just look nice. You know, like I'm not saying like in a weird, sexual way. I'm talking about like as a piece of art. Like they are like, you know, they're a piece of art. You know what I mean? Like I think what I'm trying to say is if you didn't have Barbie dolls, you wouldn't have like really articulated like Transformers or even the Power Rangers and like kind of. They really are like the go-to. They're the gold standard of like how to make a beautiful toy. How to, you know what I mean? Like
figurine.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
And how they move. They talked about that too in that documentary, Tiny Shoulders, because they wanted to transform Barbie because we all know Barbie with, oh, we're jealous of her perfect figure or
Yep.
whatever. But they wanted to like transform her to be more realistic to real body types. So
I saw. I think it's one of the best episodes, probably the best episode on Netflix. It's called "The Toys That Made Us."
oh yes, I love that.
And that's probably one of the best. That whole episode's amazing. They should make a movie based off that. That's the movie.
For
That's
real.
the real Barbie movie, I think. But if I remember correctly, they were saying the way they got her dimensions of her arms and her legs is because in order to change her clothes, you needed longer limbs and a longer torso and a longer neck. So it wasn't even if they were trying to do something like, oh, this is what a perfect woman looks like. It was really just more about how can we make more money, like anything else. But then it took a life of its own, of course. These unintended consequences, as they say. Mm-hmm.
They had progressive intentions, it says in this movie, because they wanted girls not to play with baby dolls anymore because as you're playing with a baby doll, you have to take the role of a mom to be with the baby. So Barbie was intended that girls can be ambitious towards other than jobs other than being mom. So they can see that Barbie's an astronaut, Barbie's a doctor, she's a teacher, she's a veterinarian. Okay, so that they can see all these other jobs. So that was the intention behind Barbie. There was very good intentions. However, the way that do you know how they got the figure of Barbie and the idea of Barbie?
I'm trying to remember from the episode.
Yeah, I know it was
like
in there,
a
but I couldn't
cartoon. It was like a risque art cartoon. I think
Wasn't
it's
it like
like
a
Germany or
like a
Russia.
German like adult star or something like that?
So like an adult, like this was meant for men, this doll in Germany, and it was a whole like little comic strip of this like prostitute of her name was Lily, and it was in the Build type of magazine, kind of I guess like a Mad magazine where they have like a comic strip, and that was Lily. So they took Lily and they made a doll in Germany, overseas. And then Ruth Handler went overseas, sees this doll that was meant for men, and says, I want to make that into a doll for young girls to play with. So, background of Barbie is, yeah, she started out as like a little prostitute.
Yeah.
Well, I have an interesting Barbie story. Years ago, I guess, I mean, this is going on 6, 7 years ago, maybe more. I had to go down to Jacksonville for a business trip. And so I booked my flight, I booked the hotel, and I fly down. And I had to stay at a different hotel than some of the other people on the business trip because I wound up going last minute. So I get down there and I check into the hotel. And at first, I see a giant life-size Barbie box that you could take like selfies in.
Yes.
And I was like, well, this is an interesting thing. I don't know why this is here in this hotel. This is an odd thing, but whatever. It's like a Hilton. It wasn't like
Right.
anything weird. So I check in and I'm talking to the person at the counter and I had to ask them, like, what's with the giant Barbie box? And they said, oh, we're hosting America's largest Barbie convention this weekend.
Cool.
And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they're going to be here. Everyone's going to be selling their Barbies and there's going to be Barbie costumes and all this other stuff going on. I'm like, this is the strangest thing because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So like, all right, maybe I might try and check this out while I'm in this hotel anyway, if I have some free time. I wound up not being able to, but it was probably for the best because I get to my room in the hotel and I'm, you always have to look for the number. And so I'm looking at all the doors. I'm like, which one is mine? Which one is mine? And then I saw the room, like, which I thought was mine. There's a big handwritten sign posted to the door. And this actually wound up being the door right next to mine. And the sign said, password only to enter room, nude Barbies inside. So somebody was selling custom made like adult nude Barbies in the room right next to mine.
Anatomically correct.
Anatomically correct. I'm like, this is the strangest thing I've ever, because why? And then I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can go into this showroom. I gotta see what it's about. Like I said, I didn't get in, but there were so many men dressed up as Barbie. And I'm not even saying like looking like drag queens or anything like that. These were just like regular dudes that were in Barbie dresses, and like it was an odd thing. It was maybe just slightly less weird than a furry convention. This thing, it was the damnedest thing. But yeah, they had life-size Barbie boxes all throughout the hotel, so you could be in the different Barbie boxes and take selfies.
I actually went to a Barbie party like 2 weeks ago when Barbie first came July 21st. Like live out east in Greenport. I went to Claudio's, and at Claudio's they had that life-size Barbie box that you take pictures in. So everybody's going in with their friends, and everybody, the guys too, are dressing up as pink Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bubbles everywhere at the party. DJ. They're really marketing off of Barbie right now. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of money in the Barbie marketing budget.
Mm-hmm. The stores below me, anything that's pink is on sale. The cafe, Barbie lattes. It's a big Barbie world this summer.
Yeah, actually, you know what? You just reminded me. Is that song in it? I mean, I don't want to do any spoilers. Is it?
Yeah, they do a version of the song with Aqua.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
They
That song.
do a version of it, an updated version.
Oh, okay. Okay, updated version. Okay.
I heard that originally it wasn't supposed to be in there, but Margot Robbie fought to get that on.
I know. How could they not have that song in there? My God. I mean.
Yeah. They bought the rights.
I mean, how expensive is that to get from Aqua? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to benefit. They could sell for $1. They're going to make millions off it now.
Yeah.
They've already made their millions off. Now
Finally.
Jeez.
They were living off of whatever the radio was playing, but now they're.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to benefit it. Oh my God. Yeah, why would you not? Anyway, just go back to the film. I'm kind of curious. Do you think this film is going to like age well? Because look, there is a political angle. Sound like, I mean, quasi, so you think 10 years from now, is this going to age well? I mean, aesthetically, the movie looks great. The acting, everyone's good looking. We know all that. But
definitely time in history, because in the movie, they're imagining the Capitol there's government involved in the movie. The Capitol all run by women, and the Supreme Court all run by women in the Barbie world. So, I mean, if things go well in the real world, I don't know. It would be something to look back on to be like, hey, maybe Barbie influenced this. That now we have a woman president, because that was another thing in the movie, like having a woman president, having the Supreme Court, having everything in Congress this way.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because for me, sometimes, like, I'm not against, you can have political films, that's fine, but sometimes if you don't use it right, it can really date your film big time. Like either doesn't not, even if you're for it, against it, whatever, it can make it feel very dated. So I don't know if this film has, I guess I'm saying, does it have a timelessness? Like, or is this gonna what it is? It's somewhat a quasi period piece. And that's, I mean, they're gonna make another Barbie after this. We know that. Whether they do it a live action, they're gonna make a cartoon, a different version. Look, they're gonna make money.
I think because
it's too much of a.
If we flipped the script and like made it into like a toy that I don't know, Ninja Turtles. What toy do we want to take to oppose? And it could still be timeless if we flip the script of a male-oriented type of toy, and I don't know, maybe. But Barbie is part of our history. It's part of like American history in some way. Was it 1958, 1959? The little Barbie digging? that she's been around for over 50 years or so. I didn't do the math. But, I think so.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm just.
Final answer.
Did they have other? So I know obviously Margot Robbie is Barbie, and probably the best casting they could pick because she looks like a Barbie.
Yeah.
But they have did they have like wheelchair Barbie and all her friends that aren't really Barbie but have like different?
Yes.
I think she had a sister and stuff like that. Like were all those other characters in the movie?
Yes. So they mentioned Skipper, but there was no Skipper in the movie. That's a great point. When Barbie was first made, they made a sidekick for her named Midge, and Midge was in the movie. They revamped Midge later in the 80s, and she was a pregnant doll. But like the pregnant version of Midge was in the movie, and they made a little joke like, who would want to buy like a pregnant Barbie? Because that's what happened in the real world. Nobody really wanted to buy this pregnant Barbie. That's what it was. But they made mention of Midge. They made mention of Alan, who was played by Michael Cera. And Alan also was like Midge's husband. There was just a couple of versions of him as Groom Alan and Beach Alan. There wasn't too many. He wasn't successful as Ken was, because Ken was basically Barbie's sidekick, and that's why he was successful. But yeah, they didn't really mention other Barbie characters that you're a real Barbie fan, like Teresa, Christy. I had a Teresa doll with my best smelling doll. It was like smelled like perfume. She had like brown hair. They had Stacy. They didn't have her in the movie, but I don't know. There were some dolls that they didn't get to mention. I remember Whitney. Whitney was like Stacy's friend. They didn't have her. It was just mainly all Barbies. So all Barbies and a sprinkle of Kens. They didn't really mention any other names besides Midge and Alan.
All right. I'm actually not a big fan of Michael Cera. I don't think he's funny. I think he's like a dweeb. I'm sure he does. I'm sure his character is fine in the film, but I feel like any of his films like never laugh. I don't like his sense of humor. I don't like that whole like cringe comedy thing was never for me.
Yeah.
So, but okay.
You're supposed to like feel bad for him because but everybody forgets about Alan. He's like supposed to be this forgetful character, and
right.
What was me? Kind of the dweeb. He is supposed to be the dweeb in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But liked him in Superbad.
I actually never seen Superbad. I never seen that film. I know.
Wow. I feel like
That's probably his breakout role, but yeah, I gotta check that out.
It was. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. Mm-hmm. I always get him mixed up with is it Jesse Eisenberg for some reason? But I kind of like Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Certain films, he's very. I know he always plays himself. He always plays basically, Zuckerberg now. But
Yeah.
He
Kind
was
of bumpy in a way.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna say. Oh, I guess to kind of wrap up the film. Out of 10, I like to give our films a, best out of 10. I guess. What would you rate it?
I would rate it maybe an 8.5.
Wow, that's high ranking, 8.5.
I liked it. I had a good time. There was moments in the movie I laughed. There was a moment where I felt like I was gonna cry a little bit because like America Ferrara was like talking about like hardships of what we all face as women. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I had a little emotional roller coaster in the movie, which is very, very chick. Very
Right.
much.
Well, I think that's the best movies are the ones that make you go through a ride. You know what I mean? So it sounds like you would recommend it, Amy.
I do.
Great. Well, I guess to kind of wrap things up, and Amy, thanks for coming on the show. Amy's going to be with us in a future episode, which we're excited about. But there we go. This is her shirt. She has a for folks who are just listening. And you can see this video on YouTube eventually. But Amy's wearing a Scream shirt, but it's a Barbie Scream shirt. Yes. I dig it. Ghostface.
Yep.
But Amy, do you want to kind of share where folks maybe follow you if you like?
Yeah, my Instagram, meow. I'm Amy, MEOWIMAMY. That's me.
Perfect.
Definitely give Amy a follow. And again, Amy, thanks for coming on the episode. And we look forward to talking to you on a future episode, like Mike said.
Yep, perfect. All right, folks. We'll see you in the Barbie World at the same time and same table.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey kids, PJ here. Hope you enjoyed that episode with our old pal Amy talking about Barbie. If you did enjoy what Amy had to say, check in with us on August 31st when Amy comes back to the Cool Kids Lunch Table to talk about her favorite adult-themed cartoons. Next week on August 24th, we're joined by special guest Kirby Taylor, the operator of the Instagram account popcorny.movies, where we'll be talking about some well-written movies, some poorly written movies, and the ongoing actors and writers strike. We'll see you around the lunch table, kids. Have a good one.
Boys and girls, lunchtime is over. Please visit PJ and Mike's website, coolkidslunchtable.podbean.com for more information. Follow the boys on all social media apps. Just search Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast. Now get to class before you get detention.